Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a full face get ready with me video using all drugstore products. Now some of the drugstore products are new, others are old favorites of mine that I just cannot get enough of. So if you are interested in this video, then just keep on watching. If you like this video while you are watching it, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more content from me, if you like fashion, beauty, wardrobe outfit videos, then please also hit the little red subscribe button down below. I would love to have you back and join this community. So to start, I'm going to begin with the Maybelline Master Prime primer. This helps blur and give some redness control on your face because the primer is green. And although the solution is green, as you can see here, it's not like thick that it's going to provide a crazy amount of, like, it does blur for sure, but in terms of the redness, I don't find it helps a whole heck of a lot. But I mean, something is better than nothing. And I definitely have a little bit of redness on all of my scarring and whatnot. Like, you can see that helped a little bit, right? But it's not a crazy dose. Like, it's not going to completely eliminate anything. Maybelline Infallible Full Coverage 24-Hour Foundation. This stuff is super powerful, but it's honestly so good. You only need the smallest amount, and it just gives this really beautiful full coverage. I'm going to apply it with a damp beauty blender. So I'm taking about this much on the sponge, so not a whole heck of a lot. And that should cover a good portion of my face. I mean, it is really full coverage, and I'm so impressed because most drugstore foundations, when they say they're full coverage, are not. Okay, so far that's 2 like squirts from this bottle, and look how nice my skin looks on the lower half. I'm gonna try it on my forehead now. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful coverage? It's so nice. It's so lightweight on the skin. Like, it does not feel like a full coverage foundation. So if you're someone that really doesn't like feeling makeup on your skin, this is an amazing choice. Next up, I am using some concealer. I'm going to be using 2 drugstore products for this. The first is the NYX, oh my gosh, I've rubbed off half of the names. This is their HD concealer. This is in CW1, so it's a warm-based concealer, and it is quite light, so I want to use this for some brightening. And I'm also going to be using a favorite of mine, a long-term favorite of mine, the L'Oreal True Match in W123, again, because I have a warm undertone. So I'm going to start with the lighter of the two. And in case you guys keep wondering why I look down my mirrors here, and I'm just going to put a bunch of this under here. The next one I really, really like. I find it is incredibly, not exact, but it is comparable to the MAC Pro Longwear, which I really enjoy. But I do find that the coverage is a little bit light, which is why I like to mix it with something else. So that's why, oops. So that's why I'm going to be mixing it with the L'Oreal True Match. And we're gonna slap that baby up in there too. And I'm going to take my NYX Precision Beauty, or my NYX Precision Blender, which I'm obsessed with, and I'm going to just pat that into my skin. And I always pull it up past my eye because I find it kind of lifts the eye a little bit when I do that. And then across my lid, so it acts like a little bit of a eyeshadow primer. Now in terms of setting the under eye, I actually don't have a setting powder or like a proper setting powder for under the eye from drugstore, but I am going to be using the NYX Radiant Powder with my Real Techniques brush. I'm just going to dab it all in there, and then I'm going to just lightly set under the eye. I figured this powder was good because I figured why not? I do want brightening under that area. Now to set the rest of my mug, I'm going to be using the Maybelline FitMe. This is their Porcelain 110 powder. You can see I've used it definitely before. And I'm just going to set that with a big fluffy brush just to make sure my foundation stays where it should. If you guys want a review on my favorite drugstore foundations, I do have a ton of recommendations both for full coverage, medium, and light. So if you want to see that, comment down below. Or if you want to see a drugstore favorite video of things I really just love from the drugstore, then also comment down below and let me know. All right, for bronzer, I'm going to be using the Milani XL bronzer. They're all over glow. I love this one. This is an older one, so I'm hoping this is still in the drugstore. I believe it is. But out of the two, I'm going to be using this one since it's more of a warm base glow. This to me is a little bit more like a contour. All right, so next I'm going to dive into brows. So for my drugstore brows, I'm going to be using the Annabelle Self-Sharpening Waterproof Brow Liner. And this is in the color medium brown. This was the closest match I could find to my Anastasia Beverly Hills toe pencil that I traditionally use. I always like to outline the outsides of my brows first, and then I kind of fill them in after the fact. The brows are on. I do feel like they're a touch dark, but as I said, I always struggle with the right color for drugstore products anyway for brows, but we're just gonna go with it. The palette, that's not only for your eyebrows, I should have tried that with powder, but oh well. But I love that this is dual purpose. So here's what the packaging looks like from the outside. And the reason I want to try this kit is you can see that the colors are beautiful and neutral. You've got a great mix of shimmer and matte. I am someone that is traditionally not a fan of a lot of shimmer unless it's simply on the lid, just because shimmer products do highlight a lot of fine lines and wrinkles if you have aging skin. But I do find that this palette in general is really beautiful and has a good color range. But to start, I'm going to be taking this slightly like mid-tone brown up here, and I'm going to take this on a big fluffy brush, place that in my crease, or for hooded eyes like myself, aka the socket of the eye. And I start on the outer corner and blend in. Now I will note, as with a lot of like red-brown colors, even if they are mid-tone, there was a lot of fallout when I put the brush first in the pan, but the product itself is really beautiful and just like blends out like a dream. My goodness. This is so nice. Wow, I really like that. That is so beautiful, guys. Look at that. Wow, what great color. Well done, Annabelle. It's important though on a hooded eye, if any of you have hooded eyes, not to pull the product like down, just because you don't want it to make like your eyes drooping. So I always kind of pull it just outward horizontally as I go to the end of my brow. No, I'm gonna take this one here that's just a smidge darker. It doesn't have the names for it, so I apologize, but the next like darkest brown shade here. And I'm just going to take a smaller tapered blending brush, and I'm just going to pop that into the socket again. Just slightly lower, just because I want it to look more like an ombre or gradient effect with the other color. This is such beautiful pigment, honestly. I'm so blown away by this. It's been a really long time since I used a lot of drugstore eyeshadows, because I found that the quality a little while back was not the best, but that Sonia Kashuk I mentioned prior and this Annabelle palette is so pretty so far. Now before I go any darker, I'm going to go back into the initial color from this palette, and I'm just going to sweep that with a small pencil brush under my eye. And now just to diffuse that under eye area, I'm just going to take nothing on that tapered brush, and I'm just going to lightly buff out what I had there already. I'm going to go in with this like brown gray over here, and then take that small tapered blending brush again. And I'm just going to, again, put it in the crease, but on the outer corner a little bit more, focusing it on the outer corner. Guys, I'm legit blown away. I never use drugstore eyeshadows because I've always found the pigment to not be so fantastic, but wow, this has changed my mind. I may have to go back and revisit some of them, see what they're now like. Now on a small flat angle brush, I'm just going to take that darkest shade I just used up here, and I'm going to lightly line under my lower lash line, just to give a little bit of definition there. And I like to do this especially instead of using an eyeliner down there, just because for a lot of people, eyeliner on the lower lash line tends to smudge out and fall on the cheek during the day, just because of its creamy formula. And most people I find don't have time to set it in the morning to ensure that that doesn't happen. So I like to just go straight in with an eyeshadow. I find it tends to look a little bit smokier anyway, and I really like the effect of it. In this packet, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this properly, but there's this really light, beautiful pink pigment. I don't know if that'll show up properly, but it's got this slight shimmer to it. So I'm going to put that on my mobile lid, which is this part that actually physically moves around when you are looking at things during the day. Oh, that's so pretty. It's just the nicest sheen. It's very soft, like it's not a, it is pigmented, but because I'm so fair, it doesn't really show up a lot. And it's not an overly sparkly formula. Just the tiniest bit of shimmer, so I think it's nice for daytime just to brighten that area of the eye just a little bit. Now for eyeliner, you guys had to guess that this is coming up. I'm using the Marcelle Self-Sharpening Blackest Black Waterproof Eyeliner. I always just put it in the tight line or the upper waterline of my eye and the lower waterline of my eye. So I'm going to do the exact same thing now. Now comes mascara, and you guys seriously can't think I'm going to stray from my OG, my L'Oreal Lash Primer. Oh, the stuff. I think this is like my 6th tube of it. I don't know, I think this might be a long-term love affair. And then of course, to top that lash primer on, I'm going to use the L'Oreal Voluminous, their regular mascara. This is the Blackest Black. So I'm going to put on some blush, and for that I'm going to be using the NYX Sweet Cheeks palette. This palette is amazing if you guys haven't tried it. It's got a lot of different shades of like pinks and peach tones and some darker shades as well. It's so versatile. And depending on what you want for different cheek tones, it gives you a lot of options. So today I'm actually going to take this like coral color down here, and I'm going to apply that to my cheeks today. So I'm just going to brush a lot on. And this palette I think is such a great buy. It's about $20-ish, Canadian at least anyway. I believe it's around $20, maybe like somewhere between 20 to 27, I feel like. And for this amount of product and for the longevity of this product, I think it's a fantastic drugstore buy. You really can't go wrong with it. And the pigment of it is beautiful. I've always really liked NYX products. I use that even on a lot of clients when I do their makeup, and they never ever disappoint. They really don't. So a touch of blush is on, and now it's time for my highlight game. And for that one, I'm going to be using, again, a NYX product. This is their Strobe of Genius Illuminating Palette. And I mean, look at that. Is that not beautiful? So again, you've got a lot of different highlight shades. This one is absolutely stunning. You've got a purple, a blue, you've got like a rose gold, a yellow. You've got these like beautiful like tan peachy colors, a nice light one, and this beautiful tan shade. You've got literally everything under the sun. Now for today, because I always like a little bit of color, I'm going to take this, actually what do I want? Yeah, I am going to take this light pink up here and this blue. I do like colored highlighters because they don't really show up as a lot of color, and I like that touch of pigment on the cheek. And I'm just going to lightly put that up here and then on my cheekbone. See that pigment already? Woo! NYX, you do a good job. So I'm just going to put that on the cheekbone, and I love it on the apple of my cheek. It's like one of my favorite areas to apply highlighter. Now for lips, I have a couple of different products. For lip liner, I'm going to be using the Marcelle Velvet Gel Rosy Nude Lip Liner. And for this one, I am going to line and fill in my entire lip. Lipstick, I'm going to be using the Maybelline, I don't know what line this is. The Maybelline Color Sensational 915 Blushing Beige, which is this beautiful, like, I would say peachy nude. Now to go over top, just because I typically like my lips to be a little bit more on the pink side. So on top of that, I'm going to be applying this NYX Butter Gloss Lip Cream, and this is in the color Vanilla Cream Pie. It's such a pretty pink color. Now, unfortunately for setting spray, it was the one thing I don't have from the drugstore. I know there are ones by L'Oreal, and I think Maybelline has one as well, but I honestly just forgot to pick one up. So don't shoot me, but I'm going to use the Max Fix Plus. But if I were going to pick out one from the drugstore, I've heard the L'Oreal Infallible Spray Mist is really good, but I'm going to be using the Max Fix Plus because I just don't have one that's drugstore on hand at the moment. Okay, now that my hair is straightened, here is the final look, guys. So really beautiful, like, color payoff with everything. I'm so happy with how everything has turned out. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you loved watching it, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Please also consider hitting that little red subscribe button down below. And other than that, I love you all so much, and I will see you in a few short days. Mwah! See ya!